Hi Shreya and Ritwik, welcome to Ketchup Talks. This is Mrinal from Social Ketchup. So first of all, let me ask you, how are you? How are you guys doing? How's your quarantine and everything?
Firstly, thank you so much for having us, and I'm doing pretty okay. I'm Everybody is in the middle of a lockdown right now, but I'm very excited that my show Bandish Bandits is coming out. And quarantine has been tough, but just learning to adapt with it. I guess.
For you, Ritwik, how is it?
It's been a roller coaster ride here the past 3 months. You know, right from being uncomfortable with what's happening right now to getting used to it, and then suddenly uh, this entire ordeal of promotions and marketing and everything starts for the show. So I'm so excited and so happy. So it's been a graph of different emotions, and right now I'm
Absolutely.
elated, and I hope this lasts for a while.
It must be overwhelming. Like, first you're so
Absolutely.
excited for your show, and then you have to do all these promotions, like in a completely different style.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
It's very new, but I just feel like we're so happy because, when we were under lockdown, we weren't working, especially our field, we couldn't work from home per se, like a lot of the people in my family. So now I'm working from home, so I'm very excited that I'm getting to do this, and I think my appreciation for just all of these things has increased tenfold. So right now, just very excited to be here.
And for you, Ritwik, how's it?
Actually completely agree with what she said. More than overwhelming, it's been a very. I really feel that I'm blessed to be living the kind of life that I'm living because I've got shelter, I've got food, I've got my family, I've got everything to take me forward and be with me through this
Yeah.
entire lockdown period. And now with the show releasing, and mm, I'm on top of the world, if I could say so. Genuinely, am.
Okay. So can you tell me something about the characters you're playing in the show?
So I'm playing the character of Tamanna Sharma, who is a YouTube sensation and a pop star. She's extremely passionate about composing music and performing for her audience. She really comes alive at that time. And she's a very confident girl, very self assured. She knows what she wants from life. She's very liberal, and she has her eyes set on her goal, which is singing with her idol, Queen Ellie. And the only way that's possible, she comes from the world where views and contracts really matter. So she knows exactly that I need another hit song for me to fulfill this dream. So yeah.
Okay. And
So
And
Radhe.
Radhe,
I play the character of Radhe Rathore, who's from Jodhpur, Rajasthan, and he comes from a family of music. He belongs to the Rathore Gharana. Uh, and this Gharana has been headlined and found by his grandfather, Pandit Radhe Mohan Rathore, which is played by Mr. Nasir Shah, the one and only Nasiruddin Shah. And Radhe is a young
And
boy
your
who's
father's
extremely
Rajesh
idealistic.
Telanka. Like, how does it get any better?
And my mom is Shiva Chadda, and my uncles
Yeah.
are Mr. Misty, and my best friend Rahul Kumar. It just,
Oh
the
God.
list does not end. But as I was saying, that this boy is a very young, idealistic, disciplined boy, and very rooted to traditions and culture. And all his life, all he's wanted to do is one thing, that I want to become like my grandfather. कि मुझे पंडित जी जैसे बनना है. I want to achieve the kind of success and the respect he's achieved for in his field of art, for his craft, and he wants to be the rightful successor of the Rathore Gharana, and he's worked all his life for that. Until one day he meets a YouTube sensation, the pop star Tamanna Sharma, and then his life just goes topsy-turvy. And what happens from there on is his journey, the choices he has to make between the love for his family, the love for Tamanna, the passion for his craft, and his complete reverence and love for his Panditji. He has to make choices that he's never thought that he might have to make in his future or in his life. So that's the journey of Razi through the show in Bandish Bandits.
okay. What was the brief given to you guys? Like once it was the contracts were done, everything was set, you were decided. What was the brief given to you? Okay, Shreya, this is your character. This is how is it going to be. And how did you prep for this? Any musical training, any cultural training? Because so Radha is from Jodhpur. It's a Rajasthan proper Rajasthan family. So did you go through the cultural training as well? Apart from being musical, I'm sure you went through some musical training to play the role.
No, absolutely. In fact, one of the writers, Amrit, is also the showrunner of the show. And he actually, when they were writing the show, they had a very clear idea of what they had in mind when they were writing Tamanna as a character. He not once did he tell me, okay, this is my reference, or she is my reference, or like that person is my reference. No, they sat me down, and after I read the entire script, they started revealing personality traits which I'd already picked up because I'd read the entire script. Script mein tha, like everything was very well explained through the script. Her graph is really beautiful. So there were certain personality traits that they are very clearly in their mind. Be it even a physical trait like the fact that she has blue hair. She's known as this blue bandit. She's a bike rider. She loves composing music. She has her own studio in her house. You know, all of these things. So I use these things as fodder, and I decided to chew on it because I had all of this support of the team. They also kept workshops for us. So I had workshops for my singing bits. I had workshops for my concert with
Hmm.
our choreographer Vijay Ganguly. I also learned how to ride a bike for Tamanna because they were very clear in their mind that Tamanna is a rider,
Hmm.
and it was really amazing that we had makers like Anand and Amrit who are very supportive towards their concept is that if you're riding a bike, if your character rides a bike, if you can learn it, just might as well learn it. So even for our singing classes, so I've never taken any formal training before this. Their whole thing was just to surround us as much as we could in a musical environment so that we could feel as musicians, and then we could use it as weaponry when we actually go to play the characters on set.
And Ritwik, there was because you have to play like a classical trained musician. There was separate training that went for you. There was scheduled for
Yes,
you.
yes, there was. But I'll tell you where it all began from. Anand and Amrit was so clear about who Radhe is going to be
Yeah.
that generally you have this notion in your head कि if you're going to be introduced project as the new actor who's going to headline this show. So generally, the brief that you might expect from a maker is कि why don't you start grooming yourself and why don't you go hit the gym and why don't you start looking like a hero now. But all Anand and Amrit told me was, Kisun beta, from tomorrow you're going to start Shastriya Sangeet classes. Okay, firstly, and do not start classes in a way that you learn how to act as Radhe. Start classes in a way that you're going to take up a musical career from here on. That was the brief that I got. All they said was Radhe is a singer. Singers have this great amount of stamina. So if you really want to work out, we want you to run and make sure that you've got great breath in you so that you can sing for hours together. There's a sequence that you see in the show where Radhe does a unimaginable performance. There's a huge long sequence which you'll see in I think episode 2 if I'm not wrong. And these are the things they said that it's there in the script. We can easily cheat it. We can easily show it through a camera or through makeup what you've gone through. But we really want you to understand who this boy is by even accepting him physically. So why don't you start uh, do not put on any more weight. So these are the kind of things they said that we can't even imagine. I used to look at myself, I used to never feel that somebody walk up to me and say, don't put on weight. I would expect people to tell me, why don't you put on weight? Why don't you just like add some more muscles to you? But these guys have such a clear vision of how they see Radhe and how he's supposed to be. That these are the kind of briefs I got, and my classical training happened for good 2-3 months before the shoot started, and through the shoot too, we were training amidst shots and we got the day off or so on. And Akshat even traveled to Rajasthan as Akshat is our musical coach and supervisor. He traveled to Rajasthan also with us and he stayed there with us. So we used to finish a day of shoot, go back to the hotel, he used to come to my room, we used to sit and do riyaz again. And then next day get prepped for the shoot and then go for it. So the training was never ending and it has still not ended. The show is about to release and I'm still training with Akshat, because I found so much love in classical music that I hopefully it'll go on forever.
So why I asked you about the cultural training as well is because I'm from Jodhpur and I know that there's a difference in dialect. So did you go through like to sound like you are coming from a gharana? you had to go through? Like you should speak, walk in a way that it looked like it's there. So did you go through anything
Raj,
like that?
so basically, our country is such a special country that after every 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, the dialect
The
and the
change in
accent
dialect.
changes.
There's a change in dialect.
So even in Rajasthan, every different area, every different city, every different
Yeah.
township had their own accent. There are different kinds of accents in Marwari and other languages that's spoken in Rajasthan. So it was a conscious effort by the writer and Anand, or our filmmaker, sorry, our director, uh, that we do not dwell into a certain accent for the characters from Rajasthan. We do not stick to a certain kind of a dialect. What we'll do is we'll keep our Hindi pure, we'll keep our language clean, and that's exactly what we work towards. We did not pick up a certain accent from Rajasthan specifically because it could have been it would have really constricted the family's virtues and what they're trying to say to only a certain region. We wanted to reach out to the entire country and the entire world.
Okay, one question I have is how close is Tamanna and Radhe to Shreya and Ritwik? Like,
Tamanna is actually quite different from Shreya. When I read the script, the first thought was like, oh yeah, we're not similar because there are a lot of things that I couldn't relate to. But slowly, steadily, once I started workshopping, Anand very early on told me that you have to be your character's defense lawyer. So he was like, even if you don't understand something, if you don't probably fully believe in it, you have to do it with utmost conviction. So from that point on, I stopped comparing myself to Tamanna as a character. I was just like, because I am different from her, let's just have fun. Like, I think it was very empowering that I was getting to go every single day for 75 days and play something that's not very close to me. So that was very exciting. So I started just enjoying being Tamanna. Like I said, I had so much fodder given to me in the form of the script and workshops and prep that I didn't have to compare or really pick up things from my own life. They've created this whole world for me. They've created Tamanna's world for me. So yeah, so that's how we started shoot, and I started learning a lot from Tamanna. There were a lot of traits that I started picking up, like the fact that she's very confident and very self-assured, and she takes every day as it comes. Very very positive like that.
and what about you, Ritwik?
I used
Radhe
to
and
initially
Ritwik.
believe I used to initially believe that Radhi is very different from me, and I do not understand this boy. और मुझे बड़ा खड़ूस लगता था ये लड़का. But today I can
Khadus?
very proudly say खड़ूस, बहुत खड़ूस इंसान.
No, Radhe is not Khadus. She's very sweet.
I find him very खड़ूस.
You are Khadus.
See,
I'm sure everyone is listening for this first time. Like, okay, Radhe, we're liking Radhe, and this actor who played Radhe is like Khadus.
मेरे को बड़ा खड़ूस लगता था यार वो. But genuinely, I'll tell you, after I understood that boy, after I found who he really is through the process of this show, today I can very proudly say this boy that I was judging when I initially started reading the script is the boy who's affected me in such good ways. And I've imbibed such great qualities from this character today that hopefully I'll keep it with me. I've become more disciplined about my craft. I've become more dedicated and more focused towards my work, and I've understood the meaning of what family values are and what a true relationship of love is because of this boy, and hopefully it will stay with me.
What was your takeaway from this show? Something which has stayed closer to you, or a memory, or any behind the scene which stayed with you, like something which will stay with you too, other than the character or the show, like forever. Whenever you go and you'll recall it, like anything.
I think for me, working with the people that I have, and most importantly, when I say the word Bandish Bandits, the first thing that comes to my mind is music. Before the shoot of Bandish Bandits, I did listen to classical music, but mostly because of my mother. After shoot, I find myself today randomly listening to classical music. One of my most favorite songs from my album is one of the classical songs. So I just feel like Bandish Bandits has opened such a plethora of genres of music for me, and has made me appreciate music a little more than I already did, because today I understand what goes into the making of music, the effort that's put in by our musicians, and just the art form in itself. So that definitely is my biggest takeaway from the show.
Okay. And for you, Ritwik?
For me, it'll definitely be one thing that I've learned from all the senior technicians and the cast and on the show is that you just be kind to each other, be a team player, and that will directly affect your work. You know what you show on screen, and it's very easy to give a good performance if you're a good person and if you're a team player, and if you're there for one common goal is to make a good show or make a good project.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the biggest takeaway I've taken from the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I wish you all the luck for this
Thank
thank you.
show.
you.